Collaborate Ultra and Zoom, I'm not even quite sure now how to share anymore on Teams. So this may be a bit of fun. No, it's something that's coming up, so we might be okay. So anyway, welcome everybody. And I've been really enjoying. The only thing with Marie there is she's after stealing all my points. So I was going to give a talk, but I'm kind of going, what's the point now? It's the world is empty and vacuous, and it's not going. No, it's a great piece of work, by the way. So so just to say I suppose, where we were talking about doing a sort of a shortish talk and then leading into the Costa. Are we still okay with all that, or is
We're
that
still
okay?
good to go. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm mindful that we're already a few minutes behind time. So, and this is where I always need to check. It just shows you the whole technical issues and the fun and games of everything there. Are people seeing the full slide or the presenter view?
We're seeing your full slide.
Excellent. That's what I learned, that I have to sort of share display settings and stuff there like that. So there is the fun and games of it all. And after a year, we kind of go, so first of all, sorry, can I just say that I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to be asked by Karina and the team up in GMIT to host the Blitz. It's the fun and game for everybody. There'll be badges. I've been gusted badges, and I'll come to that shortly. Anyway, so the fun and games, but as I said, we just thought we'd start off with just a little bit about the online experience in MTU. Kerry, as I said, just want to, and I'll come back to that in a moment. For those who don't know me, my name is Tom Farrelly. That's the Twitter handle there. I am an academic developer with EdSU, the e-learning development and support unit in Tralee, and also a lecturer. So I suppose I'm kind of straddling both sort of camps. So anyway, first things first, I just want everybody, if you can just sort of go into Rise broadband, I'll put it into the chat there. And I'd just be interested to just make a note of your upload and download speed and where you live. But I won't ask you to type it into the chat function yet, but just make a note of your upload and download speed. That would be great. So, so I am just looking here, and we seem to be on the wrong slide. Okay, so yeah, so as I said, just want to get a handle on things, and apologies once again, it's been so long since I actually used Teams. Now, just to make things a little bit trickier, we had originally IT Tralee and Cork Institute of Technology. Congratulations, I just see there this morning, to Athlone and Limerick, who will be becoming a technological university, and the Connacht Ulster Alliance. Please God, all going well. And I thought it was interesting, just that whole thing about the different VLEs. I made the point there that we have Blackboard, and Cork have recently, in the last year or so, gone to Canvas. But as I said, from my own perspective, I genuinely think one of the big issues here is that the overwhelming majority of people have switched to using the virtual learning environments. In Tralee, it's obviously Collaborate, or the Blackboard, and it's Canvas in Cork. But my argument would be that people have made the shift, so to speak. It's like when you hire a car and you're on the continent or in North America, you're driving on the different side, but you don't stop driving. You've learned basically the same rules of the road. Observation is there. Okay, you have to adjust things slightly differently, but I think that one of the biggest things is that we've actually made that switch. So I think that's a really important thing that we have done. And as I said, and I think that's the thing, if you just get the mindset right, I think that for me is one of the biggest things. As I said, I'd be the first to say that in many ways, I said, like, I'm just speaking here on behalf largely the Kerry experience, because I said up until December 31st, we were just looking after ourselves there. But a shout out to Garoda Sullivan and his team down in Cork there. I must make a declaration. I really do. I hate the term pivot. I didn't want to say the word hate, and I shouldn't really use the word hate. I certainly don't like the term pivot. I think sometimes it just sort of oversimplifies things. And I know that in many ways we like to be able to I know Yeah, and particularly politicians love to say something, the media love it, and it's great if you can have a word. We have this word, and but for me, the reality is so complex, and I think it just sort of almost, maybe demeans is too strong a word, but certainly, as I said, I think it sort of fails to grasp the level of stuff. And pivot implies something that you can actually do quite easily and quite quickly. I think Sheila McNeil this morning was talking about tankers. And as I said, it's hard to change a sort of mindset, because if you think about it, since the earliest universities were founded in the Middle Ages, it's basically been premised on face to face. You had somebody sitting in a chair, hence you have the term chair, and he or she, well, in medieval times it would have been he, that would have been it would have been someone just talking face to face. And while we often had, in the last 20, 30 years, 40 years, and I suppose going back to distance education, the University of London over 100 years ago, but by and large, everything's been predicated on face-to-face. And within a year and a half, everything has changed. I won't use the word pivot, but everything has changed. And that then is a huge, and as we've looked at some of the points I'm just going to discuss, it asks us to rethink about what we do, all of the things that we do, and we ask students to do that. Now, I'll be the first to say, and I really want to point out here, our experience is certainly not unique. Just talking to friends and colleagues from Donegal to Waterford to Galway to Dublin and every point in between and abroad. So anything I'm just sort of discussing here, it's just a sort of observation and just trying to capture. But as I said, Marie done so many wonderful things this morning. I think, and I actually agree with Karina. I think it's certainly a great piece of work, and if there's an opportunity to build on it, I would certainly echo that. So I've just a few things here that I just point, and please put something in the chat or anything that you want to raise. Preparedness. Now I sort of talk here, and you can see the image here of the toaster. So like all colleges there, we had a virtual learning environment. We had the infrastructure. We had the training and the resources, but as you can see with the burnt toast, not everybody knows how to use a toaster. Some people had seen the toaster there in the corner, but they had never even used it. Wasn't even quite sure what it was for. So as I said, there was, of course, prior use of technology-enhanced learning and virtual learning, but its use was sporadic. The levels of skill was very, very different. And I think another thing which is really important, I mean, apart from just looking at the individual lectures and lecturers' preparedness, by and large, institutional policies and processes, they've largely been predicated on face-to-face. Our examinations, our teaching structures, our rules and regulations. So, as I said, when we talk about pivot, you might, as an individual teacher, learn how to go online, may have good experience already. But the thing about it is, if you're going to slap bang into a wall, where, as I said, everything has been based upon face-to-face, everything just takes longer, everything is more complicated. And as I said, so the pivot, if you want to use that term, it's certainly not going to be an easy thing. I asked people there just to do rides. If people can just type in where they're living, not like just the town and all, and their upload and download speed, I would just be interested, having ran the speeds there. And absolutely, some of us even denied the existence of the toaster. You're quite right. Now there's Sean there. In a city, 13.5 down and 7.7 up. Rural Sligo, 4.8. Yep. Castlebar, 29.1. Upload, 5.8. There's me, 16 down and 3 up. 10 down, 5.6, 5.1, 9.691. Galway, 90 down. Now Kevin's just showing off now with his sort of speed there. Now that's really rubbing all our noses in stuff here. Absolutely, yeah. Suzanne, good to see you. Hello, how are you doing? Yes, and I think that's the point that I think it's really important. Every class I teach, I ask them, to fill out a Google Doc. I have been amazed at how many lecturers are teaching, and they kind of say, "Oh, my broadband is good," but they actually don't know how many. I think it's a really good idea that everybody who's teaching online should actually know and be able to articulate their upload and download speeds and know what their class is and what their class average is. I was teaching a class there, mostly based in Kerry, some from Cork and North Limerick and South Clare. By and large, it was the average download speed was 7.7 and the average upload was 1.9. So when we talk here about the technical issues here, we need to think about them. For example, what does your stuff look like on mobile? Some of you may know, as I said, the VLE research group that I'd be involved with for many years. And as I said, like increasingly we've shown that a larger and larger percentage, and this is even before the pandemic, over 50% of the students are now accessing their stuff on mobile. GMIT 73.25. So as I said, so there's a huge variation. So I think, I suppose those type of things you need to start thinking about. Obviously, the Wi-Fi, the accessibility, people sharing houses and stuff. I mean, I'm walking away here, but there's also another person sort of sharing the same. Even the practicalities, I had to go out and buy a printer and stuff there like that. And as I said, how often do we just have, we're doing stuff here. This morning, I had to reboot the computer because, as I said, there was a problem with my microphone driver and stuff and video. And if you don't know how to do all of that, so there's all of those practical, technical issues, which just shines a light big time on them. The second thing, though, as I said, and I really do have to say, staff and students have been amazing. Upskilling and adaptation of teaching. I've seen staff make videos, change their notes, learn how to do synchronous teaching. So as I said, there's a whole range of things which has had to happen there like that. And as I said, we're going to need that on an ongoing basis. For most of us, it's been characterized as emergency remote teaching. But what happens when the emergency is no longer? What are we going to do? And is our training enough? And I would have to say, events like this are amazing. It's giving people an opportunity to be exposed to a range of stuff, but also to showcase what an awful lot of staff are doing, and they're doing great work. And I do want to sort of say that. So in the face of a lot of adversity, I think there is amazing stuff. And as I said, while it has happened in MTU, but it's happened all across the sector. But if there's one thing I suppose I really want to look at, is highlighting stuff around access to, access and materials. I'm a big fan of, somebody who knows me, of the open access movement and open education pedagogy. And I know Catherine Cronin is speaking at this, and I really would encourage everybody to go along there. So much of the stuff is locked up behind paywalls. And when you take people out of that, suddenly, and what about all of the notes? How many courses are predicated on having physical possession of, say, maybe 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 books at best in the library, rather than actually having electronic versions of the reading material? How accessible is it? Universal design for learning principles. And for me, I mean, as I said, I would have to say, a bit of a political hobby horse for me. UDL has nothing to do with disability. It's good design. UDL is simply good design about thinking about how accessible things are. So as I said, I think one thing is it's certainly shown that, and as I said, that people have really to start looking. As I said, if we think that what we're doing here is online teaching, yes, it's part of it. But there's no point in me doing an absolutely brilliant synchronous session and then students can't access it and stuff there like that. So I think there's some of the issues there. So we need to think about accessibility, open access, UDL, and how we provide stuff and how students get that and how they get that access. And a bit of a sort of shout out here to my colleagues in Cork there, but as I said, in the library, Sinead and Trace, who were actually specifically in open. And I think, I think more and more university libraries and colleges are going to have to think about really, how do we make stuff accessible, genuinely accessible for people? And I think that's something that's the point there. And I'm moving along quite quickly. I'm mindful of the time. Assessment. We've had this opportunity to reimagine, or are we simply just going to substitute? You know, how we can't do face-to-face standard and vigilating exams. How then do we do it? Or do we end up marginalising people? And there's been this big issue around proctoring and looking at people and security and safety concerns. And as I said, I think it's a really, really important thing there. Do we simply just try to replicate what we've already done and always done to try and make it as much like a real exam as possible? And I think that's what we think I would like to think that we all as a sector start thinking about stuff there like that. And as I said, very mindful of time, so I won't delay. Final thoughts: staff and students have been amazing, and webinars, I have to say, I've been able to access a wide variety of people around the world. Emily, who's been following the GASTA Goes Global, we had it there a few weeks ago, and we're able to get people from around the world who we wouldn't otherwise get. I've attended lots of seminars. I've hosted a National Forum seminar. I think the National Forum seminar series has been particularly good, and really getting a great opportunity to access people. And as I said, events like this, I'm not having to go up to Galway, much as I would love to be going up to Galway. Huge fan of Mahabali. If you haven't come across her work, definitely look her up. But she just reminds us, nobody signed up for this. So don't be beating yourself up. Don't be hard. Let's stop waiting to get back to real teaching. As I said, I think there are opportunities in the face of adversity. So let's think about what teaching means. Good friend of mine, Ken McCarthy, TEL manager in WIT, he was saying, not necessarily sure the students are necessarily gasping to get back and sit in a large crowded lecture hall. They certainly want to get back on campus, but for all the other things which make third level life enjoyable and something they look forward to. So we need to think about what are the social aspects of it, what are all of the aspects that actually makes out all of the stuff around teaching and college, because it's all one package. It's 22 minutes past. I can't be giving out to people about their timekeeping if I can't keep the timekeeping. So I said 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes on the button. So I shall stop sharing now. Thanks very much.
Thanks a million, Tom. You could tell stories all day to us. And apologies, I didn't introduce you properly to begin with. So,
not at all.
And, I've just put in the chat for everybody, the GASTA Goes Global, because I hope that's going to be an annual event. It was, it started with the pandemic, didn't it, last year? Was the
first time. Yeah.
And it's so true what you say. It's opened up so many doors, that we don't actually have to physically put people in a room as a result of, COVID, that we can have these brilliant events and online forums. Mahi Bali, Orla Farrell was with us yesterday, and she was referring to some of her reflective blogs. So thanks again for bringing that up. I don't know, does anybody have any questions? They're all giving you virtual claps.
That's from Annette there, yeah.
But I don't want to delay.
And smiley face from Louise, yes.
Yeah, so you want to get on with the GASTA and
it's my turn to be nasty now, yes.
Yeah, and you have a great team, I'll tell you. So Jessica, do you want to introduce the team that's going to be in the GASTA, or Tom? Yeah. Cool.
So we have Dr. Sean Duffy. He's one of the GMIT learning technologists in the Teaching and Learning Office. Irene Hayden. So if you all put on your cameras and join us. Irene Hayden is one of our GMIT digital champions, and she's also a lecturer in the School of Engineering. And then we have Ulrich. Ulrich's surname, Karina. I've never said it before.
Husha.
Say it again, Ulrich.
Husha.
Husha.
Yeah. That's it.
Husha. Ulrich Husha, GMIT digital champion and lecturer in the Galway International Hotel School. Richard Holmes, also a GMIT digital champion and lecturer in nursing, health sciences, and social care. That department's in our Mayo campus. And then Orla Scahill, another one of our GMIT learning technologists from the Teaching and Learning Office. So we have 5 digital Blitz presenters with us. Do they all have their cameras on? I can't see everybody, but maybe they do. And I'm going to, so we made it a little fun. We have a, nobody knows who's going first for the Digital Blitz. I'm going to, just a minute, going to share my screen and hopefully this will work. But, you know, it's live TV, so bear with us.
There's the badges.
And Tom's got some badges for us.
So yeah, thanks to Brian Matters, you've been ghosted. Yeah, so what we do, I think, as I said, I think the whole Gosta is a bit of fun, and I would genuinely say there's a sort of serious thing to it as well. It's based on the premise that I can hear myself. It's based on the premise that dear Mammy, that I'm sorry for writing such a long letter. I didn't have the time to write a short one. So people have 5 minutes to show, and I mean 5 minutes.
You're timing, aren't you? Or am I timing?
I am timing.
You're timing. Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to Jessica as well, that there's a lot of pressure on the people. So why not add more pressure? And don't even tell them what order they're going to be up in. But what I would genuinely say, if people are excited by what people see or tell you, contact them afterwards. So yeah. So anyway, do you want to do the spin?
Yeah.
Do the spin? Ulrich. Okay, so you have.
Well,
so you
that's
have,
on the line, isn't it?
Not at all. No, I can see it clearly.
I think that's Orla.
No, I can see Ulrich.
You see Ulrich?
Yeah.
It's definitely Ulrich.
Okay then.
Yeah.
It's me, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, will I start shooting?
Yes.
No, that's, oh God, no.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. The sound is repeating.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you're on, aren't you?
You don't have it on your phone as well, Tom. 2 calls open.
No, definitely not.
It stopped
repeating now.
It stopped repeating, yeah. So whatever was the fun and games there. So it only happened when the spin the wheel came on. I don't know if that would have made it.
Yeah, we can turn off the sound. That's easy.
Perfect. Okay, so Ulrich, so if he's going to share his screen and be ready, so I want everybody then, we're all going to join in as the usual. We managed to do it online. We'll count together, Hein Do 3 Carher Kuig, then shout Gosta, but I'll do it like this, Hein Do, and 5 minutes means 5 minutes. And once you get to the 5 minutes, we'll all join in, Hein Do 3 Carher Kuig Stod. Okay? So this is like, if I suppose if technology and 5 minute talks met the Colosseum, this would be Gosta. Ulrich, so are you ready to go on when we shout Gosta?
Yeah.
Is everybody in the audience got your microphones on? Are we ready?
We're ready.
Hein. A Do. A 3. A Carher. A Kuig.
5.
Gosta.
Okay. As Jessica said, I'm a culinary lecturer in culinary arts. Okay, and as part of the move to online, I introduced Padlet for critical reflection and for group work. Okay, now the first Padlet that I have open here is for the critical reflections, and students were asked to reflect on the dish they had cooked during the practical class using Padlet. Now I hope nobody is hungry. Okay. So we have a few nice dishes. So the students were also able to basically place a picture of the dishes on the Padlet. I just switch over here. Okay, so Padlet in culinary reflection, the first thing I talk about really quickly is the critical reflection. It's not something I have promoted consciously or naturally in a structured way in culinary education, even though we asked students in the past to reflect, but not in a structured way, okay? But one thing that I find is that critical reflection is vital for the retention of knowledge and skills acquired by the students. However, they need to learn how to critically reflect, okay? It also promoted problem solving and peer learning, because the menus that we run with the students, they run over 2 weeks, allowing the students to learn from each other with the observations that are recorded on the Padlet. One thing that was important there is that the instructions are very clear, and we developed specific rubrics to record the observations and to introduce them to the process of critical reflection with samples. And to scaffold the process, if I go back on the Padlet really quickly, 1 second. To scaffold the process, I had my observations from the class recorded on the Padlet that was providing the students with notes and pointed out items for discussion. The feedback on the Padlet was excellent. Okay, the students found it very positive to help them learn. Then the second Padlet was used for group work, and here it was moved for group work while we moved fully online at the start of the semester due to COVID. Okay, we use breakout rooms in Microsoft Teams. I'll just move this a little bit. Sorry now. Oops. This is always technology. Oh, it's all moving for me. Now, we move this. We use it for group work, and the outcome there was that the students really benefited from it. And I go back here to what Maria was talking about, the social interaction. The students, actually, the feedback that we got was that in addition to the collaboration and the interaction, the students were actually able to go into a breakout room and talk to each other about something else rather than just the task at hand. In general, again, we provided clear instructions with clear definitions of the task. And in addition, the groups were asked to nominate a leader, a timekeeper, somebody to record the outcomes on the Padlet, and a speaker to present the results to the whole class at the end of the session. This was great, again, to give students responsibility. And overall, I find that Padlet has proven an excellent tool to support student engagement during the pandemic, but also going forward. I will definitely use it for critical reflection and to promote critical reflection for culinary students. I don't know if that's me done, more or less.
Ulrich, you've ruined my day. You were a minute early, and they've taken away the fun of stopping you. Well done, well done.
Sorry, that was very fast, but yeah.
Not at all, not at all. I do actually, there's some good comments there about the excellent use of Padlet, and I do genuinely think it's a really, really good job. And I think that, as I said, while there is a bit of fun about the GOSTA, I really do mean it when I say that if you have seen a GOSTA presentation, something there you're interested in, contact the person. That's what it's about. It's a chance to give a shout out to people. Now, obviously, the ideal GOSTA is 5 minutes and 4 seconds, so we get to stop you. But that's we're joking aside. No, it's not easy, and I really do appreciate it. So, round of applause from if you want to put in the virtual round of applause or thumbs up or well done. So well done. Okay, who's our next victim? Sorry, presenter.
Orla, I think that's you.
I think it is.
It is indeed. Orla, are you nervous?
Just a tad, yeah.
Excellent. That's what we want. I don't want to see. Because what could happen is if someone says they're not nervous, they might find themselves not even getting 5 minutes. That would be very harsh. No, choking is fine. So take your time, get yourself ready to share, and as soon as you're ready, then we'll count you down.
All right.
Okay. Are we ready, everybody? Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Hein. a
doe,
doe, a
a
tree, a
Car.
carpet, a cooey,
Hi.
Gosta.
All right. Okay. So this is embrace your inner student, and this is just a humble appeal from me, a weary learning technologist. I'm going to just tell a quick little, very brief story of something that's been happening a lot over the last while. So this is a humble appeal from me, or Learning Tech. So how many of you have heard or read this over the last while? I didn't see the email, says Alex, first year business student. Where's the assignment submission button? I can't see it, says Elaine, the third year engineering student. There's definitely nothing to see in my grade book. You haven't shown us the grades. You haven't given us the feedback, says Joe, second year tourism student. So cue the AMA session and staff member comes on and talks to me. And they're like, Orla, why can't they see stuff? I'm sure I've set it up perfectly. Why can't they see stuff? And they go, they said they didn't get the invite. I sent the invite. I don't know. Is it just me or what's going on? So I often ask the staff member back, well, can you see it? So if you can't see it, then maybe there's proof. Maybe there's truth to what your students are telling you. So I ask you that you should please see this as a student and not just as a teacher. So for everything in Moodle, and when you're working in Moodle and when you're working on Teams, it's really important just to see things as a student and not just the teacher. Your two views are quite different, and I ask that you consolidate them, and I'm going to tell you here's how. Top tip number 1 is to enroll on your own course as a student in Moodle. So automatically you will be a teacher, but you're not a student. So that's my first tip. And this way you're going to get an actual student's view and you'll be able to see what they're seeing or see what they're not seeing, more importantly. Top tip number 2, for those of us here in GMIT using Teams, if you add your external email address as a member, as a guest member to Teams, you're going to see everything that the student gets, because as you know yourself as an organizer, when you send a meeting invite, you don't get that email. So you need to know what's the student getting. And if you cancel the email, do they get an email to say it as well? So the easiest way to do this is add an external email address in your Teams. So very quickly, I'm just going to show you in a demo of this quick course here. This is a simple demo of a Moodle course. I have one assignment. This is my teacher's view, and over here is my happy learner, my student's view. If I look at the enrolled users and the course administration, I see that I have 2 students, or 2 enrolled users. One is happy learner, and she is a student, and the other is Orla, she's a teacher and a manager. So if I go back to my demo and just look at that assignment, the first thing I'll notice is that I only get a button to see all submissions. But my student, on the other hand, on the assignment, they get to see the add submission. So how do I get to see this? And the other thing maybe to note just before we go any further is the gradebook. The only person appearing in the gradebook is happy learner. And this is how happy learner sees her gradebook. So let's go and set myself up as a teacher, or as a student, I should say. So course administration, into users, enrolled users, and I'm simply going to give myself an additional role of student. And I'm going to click student, I'm going to press save, and that is it. So if I now go back to my demo course, and I go to my assignment, I can see not only can I view and grade, I can also submit my own assignment. I can pass it through the plagiarism. I can get my reports. I can see exactly that the submissions are still open, and I can add it. Also, my gradebook, I'm going to get to see myself listed, and I get to see exactly what my students see. So that's top tip number 1. Please do that. Give yourself the student role in Moodle. And really quickly in Teams, if we pop in here, if this is your Moodle course and this is your Teams, you should have yourself in here twice. You're going to be the teacher as the owner. Pop yourself in as an external guest as well. So you can add a new member and a team. And just type the name through. So you mightn't always come up. So let's say oskehel@gmail. And you might get this warning, not found, not found, not found, talk to IT. But you keep typing it all the way through. Hit it, add. And now oskehel@gmail.com is another guest as this team. I'll refresh in a second. So there's 2 guests. And every time I schedule a meeting, oskehel@gmail is going to get the invite. Every time I cancel a meeting, she'll get the invite as well. So that is my humble appeal to you on this Gasta, that you please consider becoming a student on your own course, and that you add yourself as a student on your own Microsoft team. And that's me.
Or 16 seconds to spare. Karina, Jessica, you promised me that I could have a bit of fun here today. Everybody's been exceptionally professional. Well, well done, well done. Actually, Orly, you make a really good point. I do think because I've seen a few tweets of friends of mine, like, you were doing like stuff like the packed badges and the different stuff, and they were saying it's actually good just to be a student. You know, regardless of what the course is, just to see how it comes about. So that was really, really good. Thanks very much. I'm saying through gritted teeth because I'm not getting any fun.
Next time, Tom. Next time.
Next time, Arla. Next time. Okay, Jess, do you want to spin the wheel of death?
Okay, hopefully we'll get somebody who will run over time for you. Oh, not Orla again. Not Ulrich again. Nope. Nope.
No.
There we go,
Hooray!
I think, Tom, you found your culprit. I'm definitely not going to be able to do this.
Excellent, excellent. What I will do is I'll put the camera on when you've about 15 seconds to go. So I'll leave her off for about 15 seconds. But Richard, you will make my day. So this could be a good.
Pressure's on, the pressure's on.
Yeah, this is kind of the modern day equivalent of.
Okay, can you see my full screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Okay, so we'll do a countdown, and when you shout Gosta, you better start, Richard, to make the most of your time. Are we ready, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. A hen.
A hen.
A
A
go.
doe. A tree. A car. A cooey. Gosta.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm a lecturer in the Department of Nursing, and I wanted to talk to you about the teaching and learning, student engagement and assessment experience of our new program, Building Digital Healthcare Communities. So this program was developed with a backdrop of evidence such as the Topple Review, which highlights that there's a remarkable potential for digital health technologies to improve accuracy in diagnosis and treatments in healthcare. And one of the issues with that is that we need to ensure that digital literacy is higher among health and social care professionals. So the context then and the background is that this is a certificate, 30 credit award. It was in development, but it was expedited because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we had an existing certificate in electronic healthcare, but because of the acceleration in digital health, we knew that we needed something extra around the adoption of telehealth technologies and the adoption of a digital health community, such as how do we understand digital health and what are the pillars of digitally integrated care. We wanted this program to be entirely online, and we know that the rapid adoption of disruptive digital health technologies should enable better care for our patients in the health service. So what we did from a teaching and learning approach is we delivered an entirely online program using our tools such as Moodle, Microsoft Teams, and streaming our tutorials. So we delivered our content and activities in Moodle, as you can see on the left. Right at the outset of this program, we informed our students that there was going to be a structured, continuous kind of assessment approach right throughout the program. To make sure that students were as engaged as possible. And we had weekly tutorials on Thursday evenings because most of the students, this was a CPD offering, so most of the students were working professionals working on the front line in the health service. So from a student engagement point of view, obviously we can use the heat map, which gives us some indication. And with our activities or activities in Moodle, we had quite good heat on those, 350 views odd in some of the activities that we asked students to do. And we had practical sessions in our teaching, such as showing students how an app would be developed for healthcare. And we got 85 to 100% attendance at the practical sessions and about 85% attendance at all of the tutorials. And we found that the engagement was very good in these built-in ongoing activities. So there was ongoing and various assessments. We had discussion forums on personalising healthcare. We asked students to learn and use a lucid chart to show a patient journey. We did one major group work challenge where the students had to work online, and this was their team challenge slides here, building a digital healthcare community. We had a discussion forum on app development for healthcare. We had an MCQ quiz, and we had a short report on technical requirements for the students. So we found that these ongoing and varied assessments were going to give people the skills that they needed to lead or to take a leading role in the implementation of a digital healthcare environment. And that was the whole purpose of this course, particularly with the COVID-19 pandemic. So the group assessment approach was the main piece where the students had to examine the considerations for the development of a digital health tool or device and how they could improve the ability of patients to live independently. So they had to look at broad category areas such as COPD, diabetes, heart failure, disability, and they had to plan a way to work online. They had to allocate roles. They had to work collaboratively, conduct the work, build a presentation, and present the work back. And this was really a role play scenario of how they would manage a project to implement a digital healthcare solution. So we had a blood glucose monitoring diabetes app. We had a group back pain support group, and we had a blood pressure app. And one of the students said that they found it quite surprising how comfortably they felt when they got online together, and that they've seen physical groups that didn't work together as well as they did online. So overall, the student experience was very positive. And that's the end. Just got it, I think, Tom.
Richard, you said you were going to give 27 seconds to spare. This is no fun at all, Richard. You even promised me that you were going, no, very, very good. I think it sounds very, very interesting course. So no, I think, and certainly I think, as I said, the way health and social care is going, I think it's a really important skill. I'd certainly be very interested, as someone who's worked in health and social care lecturing for years. Certainly think it's a really, really excellent addition to the sort of skill sets that people is needed. So well done. I have a daughter living in Castlebar, so I must drop up and say hello the next time when we're all allowed up and face to face. But yeah, no, very, very good, Richard. Even if you had to upset me and breaking my heart by being 27 seconds earlier. Okay, let's get a spin here. Well done, well done.
Okay.
Jessica, did you warn them all or something? I
did not. I did not. I did tell them you might be a little strict, but that was it. So let's see if I can get Irene or Sean. No, not Orla. Sean,
well done.
Yay. We'll see how we can do. I'll try and push you to the limit, Tom.
Good man, Sean. That's what I want to hear.
So I'm going to just talk about the class notebook tab in the class notebook and Teams.
Now, Sean, are you trying to squeeze out ahead of your 5 minutes? Oh, do you see that? You have to wait till we're all counted in. Is this the way it's going to be presented like this, or have you to bring up a main slide?
No, I'm going to demonstrate on screen, really.
Oh, you're going to demonstrate on screen.
These are some steps that I'm just going to throw in the chat when I'm done, if people want to just wonder about it. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're ready, we'll do the countdown. Jess, are we ready?
We're ready. Let's go.
Hein. Ado.
Where's everybody else?
Three.
Yes, 3. You're right, Jess. You're right. That's pathetic. No, you're right. That's pathetic. No, that's pathetic. Let's start again. And I want to hear more voices here. Look, there's no expense has been spent on bringing me here to the Blitz. So let's get all this going. Are we all ready? Hein. Ado. 3. Car.
Thanks very much, guys, folks. So I'm going to talk about the class notebooks tab. It's a tab that doesn't get used, I think, mainly because it's sort of hidden in the Teams view. And this is a slide I have with some of the steps for how to use it. I'm going to throw this in the chat afterwards. But the main thing to look out for, or how I came across this is, you may have noticed if you do create channels in Teams for doing group work, say, for example, you have the same group that you want to work again week after week. And if you do go to the notes section in them, they get this notes section, which is in the collaboration space of the class notebook. Now, one problem people have had is if they don't want groups seeing each other's collaboration spaces, or they want to have groups working on a project and only certain members of the group in the channel working on the project. The problem is if you make these channels private channels, they don't have access to the notes in the collaboration space in the notebook. A private channel doesn't have access to its own little collaboration space notes section in the notebook. And also some people might have noticed if you make a channel private, you can't schedule meetings for private channels. You can call meetings, but you can't schedule them in advance. So this sort of, my use of the class notebook tab was in trying to get a solution to this, but there's so much more it can do. Now, the main thing about the class notebook tab, I don't think it gets used a lot because it is hidden. When you're in Teams, you don't see it unless you go to the little down arrow. Where is it now? Here, oh, sorry, I have to be in general, back in my class notebook. Just takes a second. See, I'm definitely going to go over. So your extra options in your down tab, you get this class notebook tab. So it's hidden. But once you go into the class notebook tab, you have a whole pile of options here. For example, if you create a page, you can distribute it to any section in the notebook you want. You can distribute it to any individual in the classroom, or you can, very importantly, you can create a group that you distribute it to. So you can create different groups. So for example, for group distribution, you just go into this option and you create a group. You click the students you want in that group, give it a name, you save it. And then you have groups that'll stay there that you can keep distributing specific materials just to those groups. Or like I say, you can distribute it to any other section, and you can actually distribute it to another class notebook. Oh, I've got this great materials here. I want to put them in other notebooks I have. You can just click the notebooks you want and distribute them, and they'll go directly to it, or indeed to every individual in the class. You can distribute the page to everybody's. I'll just close these down. You can distribute the page to everyone's handouts, class notes, or everything. It doesn't have to be in the content section. You can also distribute a whole new section. And you can review student work where you can decide what pages, and you can review just page after page after page of students. So that's within the Teams view, you have this option. But if you go into the OneNote app on your desktop, OneNote for Windows 10, you'll notice you get this extra, and you go to the class notebook tab, you get these extra manage notebook options. And this is very interesting because if I go into manage notebooks here, and I go into collaboration space permissions now, because we're in OneNote, it takes a while. I can find that group 1 note, group 4 notes that I had the students working for. I can press the edit button here, and I can collect which students have access to editing and working on those notes. So within those open channels, the group notes will only be able to be accessed and edited by the students I choose for each group. And I just think this is, it's a very cool resource for managing permissions to the collaboration space. It's a very cool tool for just distributing pages really quickly throughout notebooks and through individuals and through groups, and creating groups in OneNote, because you can create these groups and reuse them to send materials to over and over again. And just the very last thing I'll talk about is in Windows 10, when you open the Manage Notebooks, you always get you also get, as well as this extra little Manage Notebooks tab, you get this Professional Development tab, where you get a toolbar guide, you get OneNote education links, the Education Center, and the OneNote education blog, where you can find lots of tips and things like that. And I just think the OneNote tab is not used enough, and I think it's mainly because it's hidden in Teams. And there we go.
Oh, Sean, so close, so close.
So close.
Bro, well done. That really is really good stuff. I mean, genuinely did not know about a lot of the features, and I think as everybody is showing this morning, and I know I keep saying it, but I really do mean it. This is what Costa is about. It's bite-sized stuff. It's distilling stuff down, and as I said, if people don't know, I would encourage the presenters to put their contact details in the chat, because if people want to reach out and ask more information, I'd certainly be emailing you on that. I think it's really good.
It's
well
right.
done.
OneNote is definitely one of the most powerful tools for collaboration. I'll just say, don't dismiss it. It is fantastic. It's a great way to share content.
Well, I have to say, I had certainly, in the 5 minutes that you've had, 5 minutes and 1 second actually, but that you've had, you really squeezed a lot in. So really well done. No, it's you've certainly changed my opinion of OneNote. Okay, Jess, I think we only have the one person left.
We
now.
only have Irene's the last one, so I'm going to manage my wheel. Welcome, Irene.
Now my turn.
Okay, as soon as you're ready, then we'll start the countdown. Irene?
I will go over, Tom, so no question.
Excellent. So as I said, what I will... Yes, sorry, go on, yeah.
Just wanted to check, can you see the full slide?
Full slide, yeah.
Is that what you can see from your side?
Yeah.
Okay,
perfect,
wonderful, thanks.
So what I'll do is, as I said, when I'm about 15 seconds to go, I'll just put my camera back on so you'll kind of know that it's getting to the end. So you could be surprised. Are we all ready, everybody?
Yeah, everybody this time. Everybody.
Really big loud, really last. It's the last one of the day. It's your last chance of the year to get the old Gostig going. Are we ready? Hey.
Hey.
Ado. A tree. A car. A cooey. Gostig.
Now, thanks very much. Great introduction. I'm Irene Hayden. If anyone doesn't know me, I've been lecturing in GMIT for about 15 years. I'm going to do a really short presentation on how I integrate digital learning and professional practice into the undergraduate curriculum in our department. I'm in the Department of Building and Civil Engineering on the Dublin Road in GMIT. So for me, I'm centering my presentation around the people who have helped and who are helping to get that integration of digital learning and bringing professional practice from industry out into the classroom. First of all, a huge big thank you to Karina and Jessica and everyone else in the Teaching and Learning Office in GMIT for all their help. These ladies have been pivotal, there's the pivot, and instrumental to this development. So thank you so much for that. Also, a huge shout out to my fantastic head of department, Mary Rogers, gorgeous picture taken by her son. Huge support as always for everything that we do to initiative-wise with teaching and learning across our department, and always open to kind of new ideas as well. So huge thanks to Mary for that. I also wanted to introduce as well and just say thanks to my colleague John. John is the project manager for an initiative that's come through Pillar 3 funding called the DASB project. He's our GMIT project manager. DASB stands for Digital Academy for Sustainable Built Environment. So I'm really fortunate to be working with John to try and work toward, for the benefit of our students, to capture some of the professional practice that has gone online as a result of many lockdowns. And I think we're working towards developing some really great resources on that basis. Also, a big thanks to Sean. He will be up there now at the last presentation as well. Sean, I feel is like a maestro. He's an absolute genius of what he does, and he's working with myself and John on Future Build Educate, so developing resources for students that are open and freely accessible and for educators to use with their student body as part of the DASB project. So huge thanks to Sean. I look forward to many more meetings just to get things rolling on it and getting stuck in and learning a lot from you alongside it as well. This year, in particular, this academic year, I've used Microsoft Teams, as we all have, but I've used it to bring professional practice into the classroom. Because of the pandemic, it has normalised a lot of this for industry, and people who would normally come into classes or who might be available available once every couple of years, are now available really at the click of an email to come into the students and talk to them. And they bring everything they're learning from site and from industry into the classroom. So it brings great rewards for the students. A huge thanks to Raymond Madden. Raymond is the Technical Specification Manager in Extratherm. Ray has very kindly delivered, say, 2 professional development courses to our first and second year students in our department using Microsoft Teams. And again, great rewards from that. So thanks so much to Ray. Also thanks to Chris O'Reilly. Chris is the Specification Manager in Kilsaran. He delivered a CPD course through Teams on sustainable urban drainage systems to our students, which he normally delivers to architects, with the RIAI in Ireland. So again, lots to be learned from that. Thanks a million for that, Chris. And as I mentioned, I'm working with Sean, John, and other colleagues across the department and within the CUA, hopefully, to have about 20 different packages or short courses with assessments embedded in them appropriate for undergraduate students. They should be available by September 2021. And I just want to thank a few people who are involved with this from outside and inside our college as well. Big thanks to Wayne. Wayne is going to share access to his YouTube videos. We'll use them to embed student assessments, maybe learning packages for students, and perhaps learning pathways from that as well. This is just a small video there of a software called IESVE, which Wayne is really proficient in. So huge thanks to Wayne for that. I also want to thank Alan Rowe from Lodestone. He's allowed us to use their continued professional development webinars they have on their website. We're going to use them and embed assessments into them for students to demonstrate that they've learned from them. So, and Alan is the Senior Technical Manager in Roadstone. Also, big thanks to the wonderful Andrea Harmon. Andrea's an architect initially. She's now a concept developer for healthcare with Saint-Gobain Ecofon. Andrea has freely shared asynchronous material with me so that we can develop assessments around the resources they're normally used for architects in the UK with the RIBA. Andrea has also provided links to some really great podcasts which we will build assessments around and learning pathways around as well. So very appropriate for students in the Department of Building and Civil Engineering or any students or lecturers in the built environment. Also, we're extremely grateful to Moy Materials for their continued support in our department. This is an image of Brian Conroy, the Group Technical Director. Moy are always available to talk with our students and support at bursary for the last 2 years running. And a nice shout out as well to the head of the National Building Control Office and her colleague, that's Marie Phelan and Shirley Lamb. They've also helped us and we're using some of their material to do student assessments as well.
Pull the plug.
So just to watch this space, by September 2021, we should have, as I say, 20 asynchronous courses with embedded assessment practice suitable for undergraduate education, available for use for educators across the country in the built environment areas. So huge thanks to everyone involved thus far. And my last slide, just to conclude my GASTA presentation, if anyone wants to get in contact, my details are there. Email is the best way, and I look forward to chatting to you and to further contributions. Thanks very much.
Irene, I was nice today. 30 seconds over. No, well done. And look, I appreciate a lot. And look, everybody else had gone under a few seconds, so I said, you know what, we'll share it around today. And look, I do think it's great. I mean, look, it's clear there's a lot of people helping out there, and really, you know, it's nice to give everybody a shout, because it just shows, and particularly at this time, we are for the opportunities, and we talk about working at a distance. In a way, we're able to hook up with people that may be more difficult if we had to physically drive up and down. So well done. Listen, I'm going to hand you back to Jess and Karina, and thanks to all our gazetteers. Your badges, I'll post them up to Karina, and she can sort things out from there.
Thanks a million. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. And to think we got all that information in 25 minutes, or was it 30 minutes, Tom, was it?
Well, no, it was 27 minutes. We done well.
Minutes. Yeah. We need you more in GMIT. But and I'm looking forward to EdTech is coming up again.
It is indeed.
Sharing details. I can't believe it. It's a quick turnaround, but it'll be great to have it again at the end of May. It's at the end of May, isn't it?
End of May, 27, 28, or 26, 20. Yeah, it's the end of May anyway.
And you plan to do a GASTA for that? Yeah,
there is a plan afoot. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been really successful. I mean, as a brand, it's gone global now. So, as I said, It's about. I done it there. I saw Sue Beckingham there earlier, and I was in Alton. Ed, I was going to say last year. Do you find you keep saying last year when you actually mean 2019? I find myself saying so.
True. It's like we're in a vacuum here.
Yeah.
We've lost 2 years of our life nearly.
Yeah, but there were so many people wanted to do it. We've done 3 hours of Alt, an hour each day at the end of each day, and one person come up and said, "Do you know what I love about Alt? I know even if it's going to be rubbish, I know you're going to shut them up after 5 minutes." Edinburgh, that's it, Sue. Yes.
Yeah, in Edinburgh, very good.
It was, and I'm going to give a quick shout out. I'll just throw in it. If anybody has an hour, you should look at Sue Beckingham's. Oh, I'll get that. Yeah, there's the YouTube. Sorry, I'll just give a shout. I saw her there.
Yeah.
It's a link to the. It's a link to the keynote that she done.
Oh yeah, I must put that in the chat.
Yeah, but genuinely, I just want to I really want to thank Jessica. It's not easy because it's easy for me to be roaring and shouting because I have like a producer at the back who's doing all of this stuff, and she's done a great job. So round of applause to Jessica. Thanks for the invite.
It was a joint effort with Tom.
And also then I would just sort of say that to the 5 people, because I know it's not easy. I really appreciate that. And it really concentrates the mind. So listen, I think I'm going to dip in and out later on today. It's wonderful. I think it's a great opportunity. So a round of applause to yourselves and give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, but thank you, Tom, for being with us. And we hope you'll be up here in GMIT when we all open our doors.
Please, God, more than happy to take up the
So thanks a million again. Really appreciate it.
Before you sign off, Tom, I'm not sure if Maya can share kind of some.
Oh yeah, Maya did an illustration.
Yeah, some themes that came up during our Blitz and what Tom was talking about. So if Maya, you're on, you can share your screen. Ah, there it is.
Fabulous. Take a picture of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I didn't. Chat.
Oh my God. Oh, that's wonderful. Maya, I just love your work. It's absolutely stupendous. And what I love about Maya, although Ken McCarthy flagged me, she makes me look a little bit lighter than I actually was. In the material she does. And as you know, they say the TV adds 10 pounds. Yeah, Maya takes those off.
Brilliant. And you know, we wouldn't have heard about Maya if it wasn't for your global Gasta Tom. Yeah, and it was on Twitter. I saw her fabulous illustration from your Gasta Goes Global, and I immediately was trying to find out who is this lady. And I think it was yourself and Claire in DCU shared it with me, the details. So we were delighted that she was available to do some illustrations for us this week. It's fantastic. So thanks again, Maya.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
send you that fabulous. For yourself. Your
please
from today.
Please do. And the badges will be going up to you, Karina. And I think, as I said, just to distribute them on. And I really mean it. It's not easy coming on board. So this has been a great addition to the edit. And thanks very much for the opportunity to do a short presentation myself. So that was nice as well, I must say. I appreciate it.
No, and I'd love more time on that, Tom. You've a lot to share. You know, just like Sheila and Sue yesterday, you've a lot to share on the pandemic experience this year. So this story is not over yet. We have to go back. We're going to keep revisiting this, the experience.
There'll be more PhDs out of this.
I'll tell you, we have a few PhDs in the pipeline now. So. Okay, listen, we better go for lunch.
Yes.
Stop the recording.
Oh yeah, stop the recording. Yeah.